Everybody ready? All right. Officer Destiny Silva, that's DESTINYSILVA. On February 2nd at approximately 2:30 a.m., a sexual assault occurred in the 1000 block of Clayton Lane. A female victim was inside her home when she heard a knock on the door. She responded to the knock on the door. A male suspect forced his way into her home and sexually assaulted her. He then left the scene. This male suspect is described as possibly a Hispanic male, slim build, 30 to 40 years of age, about 5'10", brown hair, goatee, brown eyes. He was also described as wearing a beanie, a green thermal long sleeve shirt, and sweatpants. We are asking that if anyone has any information, to please contact the Sex Crimes Unit, their tip line at 512-974-5095. We do realize the sensitivity of this type of incident, and we do ask everyone to remain patient while we actively work this case. So again, if you saw anything maybe out of place around this time frame in this location, we are asking the community to please contact the Sex Crimes tip line. Just provide any information that you may have. Also, we want to remind the community just of some safety tips to help you remain vigilant and avoid any type of offenses like this, because again, no one wants to be a victim of this type of offense. So by no means in any ways am I blaming the victim in this, but again, we want to provide these safety tips. If you are at home or you do have a visitor that's coming over, have them call you in advance when they're on their way. Also, if you do have a peephole or if you have a side window, try and check before you can answer the door. If it's somebody that you don't know or you're not expecting, then please call 911 right away. Stay safely inside your home with the doors locked. Also, if you're outside of your home, if you're walking around, be vigilant. Be aware of your surroundings. Know your route. Let somebody know where you are. Carry identification with you. You limit your distractions and have a charged cell phone. So these are just some things to keep in mind to help you remain vigilant and stay safe. Any questions?
Was the victim expecting anyone that morning, early morning, or was this a knock out of the blue? Was she asleep? Was she awake?
That's the details of the case that we're not going to release right now. Again, one of the steps to investigating these types of crimes is to interview the victim, and sometimes that is a process depending on what all the victim can recall, their own response to trauma. So we want to make sure to maintain the integrity of the case. So as we do get these details, we're not going to release everything, because again, we want to make sure that we do the victim justice in this case and process it thoroughly and efficiently. And again, we won't release that information at this time.
Have there been any other sex assaults where the perpetrator knocked on the door and came in that way?
I
Recently?
don't have information on specific cases recently, whether or not that has occurred. We definitely have other crimes that have occurred like that. So again, regardless of the situation, you want to make sure to remember those safety tips. If you do have somebody that's coming over, have them give you a call. Or again, if it's unexpected, make sure that you look outside the door, if at all possible.
Do you guys have reason to believe, possibly a Hispanic male wearing a beanie? I know the suspect descriptions are a little different with the Miller attack that happened, I think, last week, but you have the beanie, you have the Hispanic. Is there, any concern that it could be the same person?
So both of these investigations, and the incident you're referencing was the one that happened in Mueller, where a female was assaulted. It was an assault with injury situation where a male suspect came up behind the female and forced her to the ground and then left the scene. So the descriptions of the suspects in this case are similar. There are some differences. In the Mueller case, the suspect was described as a chubby build. In this case, he's described as a thin build also. There are some height differences as well. So we are early on in both of these investigations. So we are exploring all possibilities. We're not ruling anything out at this time, but it's too early to confirm that these cases may be related.
Is it ever possible, for victims to get descriptions, kind of different, depending on the person?
So we're talking about somebody who's been through a very traumatic incident. And so sometimes people have different responses to trauma. So that's why these investigations are so complex and sensitive in nature. So that's why we do ask the public to remain patient while we process this investigation. But again, if you see someone matching this description, or if during those time frames for the Mueller incident as well as the one that occurred on Clayton, if you saw anybody kind of matching this description, please contact that tip line. The more information we have, the better, and we really do utilize the community as a tool to help us solve these investigations and help us help these victims.
Did she suffer any injuries outside of the sexual assault? Did she suffer any injuries outside of the sexual assault?
The injuries or the descriptions of the injuries that she sustained, we're not going to be releasing those details at this time.
Did he assault her otherwise, though?
We're not going to release that type of information if there was another assault in addition to the sexual assault. All I can confirm right now is that a sexual assault did occur.
Do you know what the security at the apartment complex was like? Was this like a gated apartment complex? How did he make his way to her apartment?
To help protect the identity of the victim, I'm not going to go into the details of where the apartment complex was located, or if it was an apartment complex, or if it was a residence, or what kind of security is available. And I also ask that you guys don't reach out to the victim at this time while we're processing the case, because this could re-victimize her. So as you can imagine, this is a very traumatic event for anyone. So of course, our main concern is to make sure that the victim is okay and find the person who did this.
Was she the one who called police, or did someone else call police for her?
We're not going to release those details at this time.
Should women who live in this general area, it's kind of the same area, be concerned after 2 attacks? Should they be at a heightened state of...
Male or female, you should always be vigilant. You should always be aware of your surroundings, because unfortunately these types of crimes do happen. There are these predators out there that are looking for victims. So that's why we provide you with these types of safety tips, because we want to make sure that the community stays safe. So stay aware and just be vigilant. Okay, anything else?
Have you guys increased police presence on Clayton Lane?
I'm not aware of any specific patrols, but I can tell you that when officers find out that these type of incidents occur, we send out information to all the patrol troops. They're aware, and there is a heightened awareness. Officers are always in that state, right? But we're aware, we're kind of on the lookout. So if somebody matches that description in those locations, or even around those areas, and looks suspicious, you know, we're gonna talk with them about it.
And can you repeat the phone number one more time?
Sure, it's 512-974-5095.
Thanks, y'all.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks guys.